Okay, so as I said that I will be discussing virtualization in detail, which became the base for cloud computing along with internet speed and cloud security as a reliability of internet. So what is virtualization? What does it do? What miracle it has done for networking people? When I say networking, we are the guys who are responsible for running the businesses, setting up the applications. An application runs on top of the remaining layer of OSI models, starting from the physical layer. So that's where our idea of virtualization start at the physical layer, the hardware part. It's not a new terminology that came into existence alongside with cloud. It was there earlier. That's why we were able to utilize it in a wonderful way. Earlier, what used to happen in a legacy infrastructure that I talked about earlier, like if you want to set up an application, web application, you need bunch of servers. First, before having bunch of servers, first think about having a private network. You own a private network, then you have bunch of servers, and you can't have one single server because one single server cannot handle the traffic coming towards it, because at time traffic will go beyond its expected uh, threshold. So how would you handle this amount of traffic? You would need bunch of servers in a vertical format, or sorry, in horizontal way, that can be easily managed by a load balancing device called load balancer. F5 is there, Netscaler, Citrix is there, lots of vendor, they will still be there. But now when you have a cloud computing, the cloud vendors is still providing the load balancers. So, but the concept remains same. It's just something which was there earlier has become virtual now. When the operating system that used to run. So now I was just trying to stick to the virtualization part. I don't want to get into other details at this moment. I'll go slowly and gradually. The virtualization is nothing. It's a way of utilizing hardware resources, compute, storage, memory, and CPU in such a way that you run multiple operating system, maybe Linux, maybe Windows, uh, or any other support, any others virtual machine that is required to be run by allocating some amount of CPU, 2, 4, depending upon the requirement, memory, 8 GB, 2 GB, minimum is 2 GB starting, and some sort of storage, 20 GB, 40 GB, depending upon this application requirement, the machine requirement. So you are able to isolate hardware and software and running multiple operating system, multiple machine, host on a host machine as multiple guests. With the help of course, there is a software that make that communication happen between your hardware and software. Hypervisor, Hyper-V, there are different vendors for it, like Microsoft uses Hyper-V, VMware uses ESXi. So these are the terminologies that are spoken a lot when we go deep into the virtualization part. So I myself have a laptop of 16 GB. I have got a VMware installed, Pro 16 version, and I'm running multiple. I'm running M5 on it. I'm running 1000i on it. I'm running a Kali Linux on it. I'm running Windows, operating system 10 and 11, and then I have got this, what do you call it, a different bunch of other stuff. So on one single machine, I'm able to run multiple virtual machine and I'm able to do multiple tasks. That's all about virtualization. If I talk about in a small layman term, utilization of resources in a proper way, in a way that you enhance the capability of the business. All my videos are focusing on enhancing the business. So that is virtualization. Yeah, I was talking about when you are setting up an application, what all you do. You can require a virtual network, you require a network, you require a bunch of servers. So you are you need to have some kind of load balancing devices like load balancer. Earlier we used to have F5 NetScaler Citrix. So why do we require load balancer? Because if you have multiple servers running, you need to have some kind of mechanism which takes care about, which handles the entire traffic, do the health monitoring of the server in such a way that you don't have to worry about scaling up or scaling down the server all the time. So your traffic is handled in such a way that neither your servers go underutilized or overutilized. There are lots of mechanisms through which the traffic gets load balanced. That 3 or 4 mechanisms depending upon the type of load balancer you're choosing. Now, when you talk about cloud, the cloud also gives you flexibility of load balancing services through elastic load balance in case of AWS. And yeah, so you wanted to set up an application, you required server. That's where virtualization plays an important role. In terms of, Azure or AWS, you have virtual machines, virtual instances, EC2 instances. You need to choose instance depending upon your requirement. Suppose you want to run an application on Linux, you have different requirement. What type of storage you require, persistent, non-persistent, what type of database you require, relational, non-relational, what type of external storage you require. You have simple storage services in Azure. There are different option, blob storage services are there. Then what sort of network connectivity you require. You just want to ensure that only selected people, the pure infra, your premises gets connected to the application. You have virtual private network, you have VPC, VNet. And then for internet connectivity, there are certain other options like using internet gateways, elastic IPs and all that comes into the picture. So for cloud computing, there are different flavors. There are different flavors in cloud computing. They are giving you infrastructure as a service. Suppose you want to have full control right from the operating system to middleware, runtime, and application. You want to choose which operating system you use. You want to choose middleware, runtime, and you want to choose the language, and you want to choose. You have to deal with everything, but you don't have to worry about underlying hardware part like storage, switches, router, and all that stuff. So you pay for the virtual instances to run your machine. That is infrastructure as a services. Then another flavor is platform as a services, which is called PaaS, in which you don't have to even worry about choosing the operating system. You just want to have develop an application. You just choose a specific language, which type of language, Python, Java, and the server, Apache, whatever server you want to run on that application. So you just pay for those resources that you use, platform as a services. And in software as a services, you don't have to even worry about choosing type of language or anything like that. It's like you just want to use the data. The data is always the customer requirement. So you just want to access the application. You don't have to manage the application at all. You just pay for the application. Like Microsoft Office 365 is beautiful example of software as a services. Salesforce, ServiceNow, there are multiple type of services available. So that's about the cloud flavors in terms of providing services. The various cloud models in terms of architecture, infrastructure, public cloud, private cloud, community clouds. And so as you say, as the name suggests, the public means something that you will be sharing with other customers. Private, something dedicated to your premises and your customer. Community cloud is some people have different requirements. Some customers have some security requirement, so they create community. Hybrid is also another option where, like, for few services you are okay to share with other infrastructure with other customer, but you become sensitive for your critical application. You don't want to share it, you just want to have private. So it's kind of a combination of both private, public. So that is also available. with different paying models and depending upon the SLAs. SLA is the term, that decides how much you're going to pay. SLAs and availability. Not all services gives you 100% availability and SLA, but yes, there are services where criticality and severity plays an important role, and you don't look at the cost. Now, of course, cost feasibility is there, cost effectiveness there with cloud, all the models. So you choose depending what SLA you want to choose, 99, 98, 99.999 and whatever. There's several options over there. If you go, I'll give you a link, you check it yourself when you find it out. So this way cloud computing has solved your issues. It's like provisioning. Suppose you just got an idea today that I want to start up a business. You just know what is your product and how you reach your product to the customer. It's just one call away. You just call the vendor and you set up your application, and that's your idea is gone to the world. That's the cloud computing. So we are waiting for you. Come and get more information on it. Just like and subscribe to my channel to get more details on it. I have given my number as well if you're looking for setting up some sort of infrastructure as well. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.